Drake has just filed a second lawsuit against UMG regarding this entire situation of them buying views for Kendrick Lamar's diss song, Not Like Us. Now, social media has reacted in exactly the way that I expected, calling Drake sorry, a sore loser, and with some people even saying that the rap streets are done because Drake brought Kendrick Lamar indirectly to court. Now, Drake is seeming to stand on big business and is suing UMG, Universal, one of the biggest music entities, under a civil RICO act for claiming that through the acts of wire fraud, mail fraud, and bribery for UMG's payments were committed through third parties in exchange of reduced licensing fees. Now, the petitioner, Frozen Moments LLC, which is one of Drake's companies, has information that agents of UMG paid at least one third party to use bots to stream the song on Spotify, and on information and belief, this practice extended to multiple third parties to artificially stream the song and the video. Now, at the time of this video recording, Not Like Us is at 900 million views, and it's only been 6 months. Now, UMG also gave financial benefits to Spotify and other unknown third parties to promote and play the song and video without disclosing those payments. And Drake would also call Apple Music, so both Spotify and Apple Music, for playing Not Like Us whenever people ask Siri to play Certified Lover Boy. The documents would allege that UMG appears to have used similar tactics with other streaming services on information and belief that UMG paid or approved payments to Apple Music to have its voice-activated digital assistant Siri purposely misdirect users to Not Like Us. And 15 online sources have reported that when they asked Siri to play Certified Lover Boy by the recording artist Drake, Siri instead played Not Like Us, a song containing the lyrics of Certified PDF file, which is a heavy allegation against Drake. Now, there's been a lot of talk of Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. Is Drake in the wrong? Is he snitching? This is hip-hop, supposed to keep it street. And I feel like two things can be said. Now, the first thing can be said is that Drake is obviously suing Kendrick Lamar indirectly for an allegation that he said about his name. But I feel like this is bigger than just a rap battle. This is about the Super Bowl. Now, we know Kendrick Lamar was selected for the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl is in February, and he's going to be performing in Louisiana. Now, regardless of him over Wayne, that doesn't matter, because we're talking about the fact that he's going to be in front of 200 million live viewers and can potentially sing a song that's going to tarnish Drake's reputation. Now, Drake is a heavy businessman. We know he has the fragrances, the OVO sound, his own brand. We see him having the Nocta with Nike, so much different business ventures that he's involved in. And I feel like even after the beef of the allegation of Drake being a pedophile, Nocta kind of slowed up on the releases of his gear. And I feel like companies, even though it's allegation that it wasn't really proven like he did it or not, slowly just crept away from him because it's such a heavy allegation. It's almost like accusing someone of R-wording a woman. It's like, even if you didn't do it, just the thought of it is so diabolical, nasty that we're looking at you like, nah, man, you definitely did it. Now, what Drake would allege through UMG and Spotify is that they launched a campaign to manipulate and saturate the streaming services airways with the song Not Like Us in order to make the song go viral, including using bots and pay-to-play agreements, which is pretty much how the radio station works. The argument being made is that Spotify struck an exclusive deal with UMG, where UMG would charge Spotify a reduced licensing rate of 30%, which was a lot, in exchange for Spotify firmly recommending Not Like Us to all its users who are searching for unrelated songs and unrelated artists. Spotify pretty much forced you to listen to Not Like Us unprovoked, even playing a song when you're specifically asking to play Drake or Certified Lover Boy. Now, media figures like Rory and Mal were very early to the game, calling out this agenda that's been conspired towards Drake against the industry.
Make you happy. I'd be on Spotify, and if an album ended, I'd be on my R&B shit. The next song would be Not Like Us. Like, it wasn't like I was in some rap algorithm. It was like, let's go with the most popular song. Yeah. I'd be listening to jazz. Mm-hmm. And then that album would end, and then Spotify does what Spotify does. It just puts you into something else. So you continue to listen to music. It'd be Not Like Us every time.
Following this ordeal, a spokesperson from UMG will come out and make a statement saying, the suggestion that UMG would do anything to undermine any of its artists is offensive and untrue, and we employ the highest ethical practice in our marketing and promotional campaign. And no amount of contrived and absurd legal arguments in this pre-action submission can mask the fact that fans choose the music they want to listen to and hear. Now, Spotify declined to comment on this whole situation, but what it seems like to me is UMG saying, hey, we can't control what people listen to. If the record is hot, the record is hot. And they're pretty much ducking all accountability if this is true. Now, when it comes to the thought of there being a botter and someone buying streams or being a botter for streams, this guy who was, known in the academic situation where he came on Axtream isn't really that credible, so it is off on a whim. But if Drake can in fact prove that UMG, the company that he essentially works for because he's an artist on the label, went against him despite him making them so much money to promote his rival, because even though Kendrick Lamar is under Interscope and Drake is under Republic, I believe, they're all still under UMG, which is the big umbrella, that they promoted someone else who was defaming his character. Like, you have Kendrick Lamar in multiple songs from Meet the Grams talking about Drake, how he has a far-fetched daughter and how he's a deadbeat dad. Pretty much piggybacking off what Pusha T said on the song The Story of Adidon, which exposed Drake for being a deadbeat father when it came to Adonis. Now we have Not Like Us, where he's saying, say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. And even though he only name drops Drake once in the song, he's talking about Baka's got a weird case, why is he around? And he's referencing members of his crew. And the fact that, Kendrick Lamar would accuse Drake of having sexual relationships with underage girl and, fathering children that we never met, it's just a new low. It's like I said before, it's the lowest of low. I understand, Drake obviously says things about, Drake said things about Whitney, like, I got bodyguards like Whitney, and talked about how in the Hard Part 6, or I forget, it was Family Matters, that if you get into a fight with your wife, it's a self-defense because she's bigger than you. And they were definitely playing a nasty game. You go low, I go lower. But I always feel like when it comes to like domestic abuse and infidelity, that's very bad. But pedophilia is the worst thing on earth. Like, I feel like that's one thing that we can universally agree with, that a pedophile deserves to be killed. I messed up and said the word, I shouldn't have said it, but a pedophile should no longer live because that is just a disgusting act. And it's almost a baseless claim with no proof. And sure, you can say the same thing about Drake's claim, which is also kind of true, but the pedophile claim rarely needs any proof, because just the thought of it and Drake is so big of an artist that people who are young or old always love him, want to be with him, taking pictures and message him. It's just a bad look in the situation. Another perspective that I saw online, which pretty much falls in the same lines of my own because I spoke about it in the last video, is how Drake essentially has a new deal on the line. His contract is almost up, and he's looking to renegotiate for a new deal with Universal. We know Drake got this LeBron-sized UMG $400 million deal, and with this Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef going on, it's sort of diminishing his value, which will pretty much give UMG the leeway when it comes to renegotiating the contract. Hey, you're not as hot. People still believe that you might be this PDF file. Your streams aren't really that good. And I feel like Drake is playing a very cynical game the way he's going at these different entities. If you look at Apple Music, I feel like Drake hasn't really uploaded any music on Apple Music, and that's why he has the 100 gigs. He's uploading music through Spotify, because Drake is mad at Apple Music for when people say play Siri or hey Siri, they're playing Not Like Us. People are trying to listen to Drake's music, and all the traffic that'll come from saying hey Siri play Fancy, or hey Siri play Hotline Bling, any of Drake's famous songs are all going to Kendrick Lamar to play Not Like Us, a song Defaming Him, which is one of the biggest songs in hip-hop right now. So the tweet reads, here's the deal. Allegedly, Drake recouped the money that UMG gave him, and he wants to negotiate for a higher price. Allegedly, they didn't want to, and even after he fulfilled his end of the bargain, after audit, UMG allegedly bought his 67% of Kendrick's streams, and this beef, quote-unquote, was allegedly a play to defame Drake, so he couldn't get a better deal from UMG. A deal that he had earned for recouping the record label money. A conflict of interest because Drake did what was asked of him. There's a push going on, and UMG and Spotify are in partnership. Now, hip-hop lawyer Mo Gangnat, someone who's been in the space for a while, he was there giving us the Tory verdict. Most importantly, what I found about him is he gave us the Youngboy verdict of him not being guilty when he beat his gun case. Now, he would give a very descriptive breakdown of why Drake is almost forcing UMG to give up their sources of, hey, let me know who you were doing third-party services with, or who were the third party that were buying or buying the views, because that's who I'm suing. And he's almost forcing their hands as Drake is doing to UMG.
I've been around a lot of rappers and legal drama, and this is the best one I've ever seen when you understand it. So first, this isn't a lawsuit. It's a petition where Drake is asking the court to require Universal Music Group to give him evidence that he needs to bring a RICO lawsuit and a lawsuit alleging illegal business practices. What he says is, I don't know who the other people were involved with Universal, but under the law, Universal has to tell me who they are so I can sue them for the following: civil RICO, deceptive business practices. What these people did is they used illegal bots to make it seem like Not Like Us was a lot more popular than it actually was. They cite to an Academics interview where Academics is on stream talking to some dude, and the dude says, I got paid $5,000 and promised a % of Not Like Us in exchange for delivering 30 million fake bot streams when Not Like Us first launched, so that it would seem more popular than it was and the algorithms would bump it up everywhere. Apparently, they claim that all of this is illegal and that it caused damage to Drake by reducing his popularity, getting him less streams. They argue that streaming is a zero-sum game. Every time Not Like Us got streamed, it resulted in Drake not getting a stream, because you necessarily can't get a stream if everybody's listening to something else on that day. And they have all these other wild allegations in there, including this idea that Universal is firing people who have loyalty to Drake and preferring people who have loyalty to Kendrick. They also claim that Universal told Drake that, hey, none of this is our problem. Your problems are with Mr. Lamar. You should sue. Kendrick Lamar's last name, by the way, is Duckworth. They say your problems are with Mr. Duckworth. You should sue Mr. Duckworth. And if you sue Mr. Duckworth, maybe we'll jump in there with you. Because what do I think is happening here? First off, my mind is spinning because I can't imagine that you're relying on a source that academics questioned and that. But here's what I think is happening. I think you might have a situation where Drake realizes that Not Like Us and everything around that song and this battle has forever tarnished his earning ability and his ability to make that money. This is what I think is so significantly reduced that he's got to do everything he possibly can to get it back. Even if that means filing these claims where you're out here. I would never file a claim like this if I were him, unless I guess there was that much money on the line. Because from a PR perspective, my gosh, what do we think, people? Does this play well or does this play poorly for the boy?